the economy by virtue of reading about it in a book or debating it in a subcommittee of Congress. I come to my understanding of the economy because I've lived in it. I started a business. I took over a business in trouble and helped get it back on track. I was even able to take those experiences and help get the Olympics back on track in 2002.
Yeah!
And then I was able to help guide a state back to fiscal sanity. So we're going to have to nominate someone. If we want to beat Barack Obama, we're going to have to nominate someone who is not an economic lightweight. Someone who has experience in the private sector, who has the credibility to go up against President Obama, post up against him in those debates, and point out how what he has done has hurt the American people, and how what we're going to do is strengthen our economy, put people to work, and get gas prices down. Now, there are the big differences. This president will continue to amass trillion-dollar deficits, year after year after year. And if I'm president, I will cut federal spending, I will cap it as a percentage of the economy, and I will finally put in place a balanced budget. A dramatic difference between the two. This president wants to raise the marginal tax rates in this country, taking the tax rate paid by small business from 35% up to 40%. I want to take the tax rate paid by small business down to 28%. I want to cut marginal tax rates across the country by 20%. I want to get rid of the alternative minimum tax, and I want to kill the death tax once and for all. This president believes that government bureaucrats know better than you what you should include in your health insurance, what types of coverages you have to have, and therefore how much you ought to pay for it. Ultimately, I believe they're going to tell you what kind of treatment you can receive. If I'm president, I will repeal Obamacare and I'll kill it dead on its first day. And that relates to our military. The president has already proposed $500 billion in cuts to the military, another $500 billion to come. His Secretary of Defense said that was a doomsday scenario, those kind of cuts. We have a Navy that's smaller today than any time since 1917. Isn't that amazing? Our Air Force is older and smaller than any time since 1947 when it was formed. You know that our troops, active duty personnel, reservists, and National Guards men and women were on multiple rotations in Iraq and Afghanistan. And yet the president wants to slow down the purchases of ships, slow down the purchases of aircraft, reduce our active duty personnel. My view is this: I will increase our purchases of ships, increase our purchases of aircraft. I will add 100,000 active duty personnel to our armed forces, and I will make sure we finally give our veterans the care they richly deserve. So this is a choice. This is a choice. This is an election year choice with dramatic implications for the course of this nation. And I asked you to get out and vote. We say back in Massachusetts, vote early and vote often. The only way to vote often, legally, is to get a friend to go with you. To find someone in your neighborhood who hasn't voted and ask them to come along with you and vote. So I ask for your help. Make some calls, get some people out voting, and if we do, we can do something very different than this president. He says he wants to transform America. I love America as it is. I want to restore to America the principles that made this nation the greatest nation on earth, and I will do it with your help. Thank you. Now let me turn to you. I'm going to turn to this audience, and questions are welcome embarrassing, awkward questions, I always say, are the most interesting, right? So please don't be shy. If anyone's got a question here. Yes, sir. I hear it, yes. Yes.
I hope you have some sympathy for President Obama. He lost a good friend. Rod, well, go ahead. Now, people, and you've heard it, question your conservative ethics. I say, just go to MittRomney.com. You laid out your policies. They're so clear, so crisp, and they're the right policies. I believe in you. Please fix nothing else. Fix these deficits, the Obama deficits. And so I ask you, will you please promise to follow not the pledges, but the promises you have at MittRomney.com?
Absolutely.
Thank
All
you,
right.
By the way, I just saw a testimonial as to my conservatism today on our website. It was an ad, and it was very powerful. It was Senator Rick Santorum.
Oh, wow.
And you got to see it on YouTube or on my website. I don't know quite where it is, but he is speaking, and he says effectively this. He says, "Look, I'm Rick Santorum. No one puts words in my mouth. I want you to know that if you want to nominate a conservative, a real conservative, well, you have to nominate Mitt Romney." Now, that was 4 years ago, but I hope it still applies. Let me tell you what you have to do to balance our budget. Because politicians talk about it, but don't ever do it. And I'm not in this as a politician hoping to stay in office year after year, to take the next step in my political career. I don't have a political career. My life was in business, 25 years, and then serving the Olympics. My passion is my family and their future. I want to get America right. And to get America right, we have to fix our budget. We can't keep sending trillion-dollar debts. You can do that for a while. It's like, I mean, it really is like buying with a credit card. You can borrow a lot more than you earn. You got year after year after year. You can spend more than you earn, is what I mean. You can spend more than you earn year after year after year, putting up more and more credit card debt until finally you can't earn enough to pay the interest and the principal payments, and you hit the wall. And then people know, oh, we got to go bankrupt. Well, America can't go bankrupt. There's no one that can pull us out. All right, there's no place in the world big enough to save us. So we can't. But that's what we're doing every year, charging. And by the way, we're charging now at very low introductory interest rates. All right, very low interest rates, because the world is willing to loan us money now. But at some point they're going to say, you know what, America's got so much debt, I'm not sure they can pay it back. And in that circumstance, they're going to start raising the interest rates, because they're worried they're not going to get paid back. If that happens, those numbers get frightening, and then we hit what Greece hit. So what do? 3 things. 1, cut programs we don't absolutely have to have. Get rid of them. Eliminate them altogether. It's a long list. It starts with Obamacare, but it goes on. Some programs we like. I'm going to ask for sacrifice. And the sacrifice is some things we like we're going to stop doing, because it's not worth borrowing money from China to pay for them. The second thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a lot of programs in Washington and see how much money is spent on them, and take that money, divide it among the different states, and let the states run the programs for Medicaid, and food stamps, and some of these programs. And finally, I'm going to cut the government workforce that remains by about 10% through attrition. And I'm also going to link the pay and benefits of government workers with the pay and benefits that exist in the private sector. Our plan, doing those things, saves us $500 billion a year. That's the heavens telling us that's what we got to do. $500 billion a year by my 4th year in office, and we're on track for a balanced budget. Thank you for the question. Yes, ma'am. Look at microphones are rushing to you. There you go. And you're green. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I'm Irish too. I was very impressed with your statements about supporting our military and increasing our troops and ships. And I know you have 5 sons, and I just hope that you'll look out for our men and our boys. I was just really glad that you included that today in your efforts to help us to be a better America, because those boys protect our America. So thank you.